I thought I would do a little final or end of 2025 update. Not much has really changed from the last video that I did, but I know that was very focused on Wiggles and Giggles and all the preparations that go into that, and the delivery of it, and then the unpacking of it, and the lesson planning and all that kind of thing. So I thought I would just update on a more sort of generic level, because I touched briefly on there being some funding awarded to us for Wiggles and Giggles, which is brilliant. So we've already got £1,000 from Born Free sat in the account waiting to spend on a 20-week project at the Barrington Centre, but we'd applied for 5k from Dorset Council to match fund it, which would have meant we could do it for a year, plus it would provide proper sort of artist fees and marketing, like to recruit to the class, travel, so resources, so basically like the proper budget for a year's worth of delivery to make sure it equipped whoever was delivering it and project managing it properly. So we were awarded £1,500 of that based on the eligibility criteria, which I mentioned when I put the funding application in. So the fact that Wakey Wakey Arts as a CIC is not 12 months old meant that we had this funding cap, but because I'd spent time putting all of this application together for the 5k with thinking that Dorset Council were going to pop it in on our behalf, and then found out there was that limit for Dorset Council, I put it in as Wakey Wakey Arts and just said, like, we'll just cross our fingers basically and see what they say. So they've awarded £1,500, which is basically going to fund like almost half a project. But then on the same sort of day, 2 days, we then got an update from Liz Bishop, the town clerk at Barrington Centre, to say that when she had applied for some sort of backup funding just in case we didn't get the Dorset Council one, she'd just got some good news that we'd got funding from there as well. So she applied for 3k. We don't know still how much we've got, because all of the offer letter and everything's got to come through, or the money's got to hit the account. I'm not sure how it works for a town council. I'm not sure if it's just a transfer of funds, but I'm hoping we're sort of at altogether 5.5k, which means we can almost pay for the whole year's worth of project, which included paying for an extended period of time at the Barrington Centre, and then also some outreach sessions as well, to help recruit into the class, and hopefully to work with the Barrington Centre as a tool to sort of develop their audiences. But I think at the moment they're a little bit suspicious of my willingness and openness to do that. I think they need to see it they need to see the delivery happening. They need to get to know me a little bit better before they trust and understand what my sort of motivations are in that respect, because I'm really keen to work with them as an arts organisation to help them develop their audience. But I think they're still thinking, well, if you're just a hirer, why would you do that? But it's because I've produced the venues. I think they're a producing venue. I think they want to grow strands of work. I don't think they're just a building that hires out. So I need to learn more about them. They need to learn more about me and sort of my intentions. And then I think we can really make the most of those 5 outreach sessions. But at the moment, we've got this £500 deficit from the original project, which I think if we were going to lose anything, we would either lose the outreach sessions or we would lose the length of time that we're due to be at the Barrington Centre. So I've got to go away and sort of have a look at what that 5.5k budget will look like, or 5.5k project, will look like, and then I need to really quickly begin promoting that. So we pushed that back to start on the 3rd of March, and it will then run for however long we can make it, however long we can stretch the money for. And then we've also got news from the same funder that has awarded that £3,000 that they really like the concept and they want it to go into an area of Burndown that is apparently the most deprived in Dorset outside of Weymouth. So apart from Weymouth, it's the second to Weymouth, it's the most deprived area in Dorset. And they don't think that people in this area of Burndown will come to Burndown Town Centre. So originally when I was putting together the application for the project at the Barrington Centre, I understood that there was some provision happening at the centre in Burndown for under 5s. So I was like, I basically said, people can't travel to that one because of transport issues, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I'm putting one in the town centre. But as it is, the councillor is really interested in putting this service in that location too. So I don't know whether maybe they haven't got under five provision, or maybe it's slightly different. The fact that this is free, I don't know. Hopefully we can work with the food bank to help with resourcing the class with refreshments and things, so that should drop the budget slightly for it. But we're going to be looking for more funds for that project. So that'll be another project happening, which is really exciting. So I didn't intend, and I suppose I've been kind of resisting Wiggles and Giggles being the thing that I do this year, because my intention was to do raise money for the Teeny Tales tour, which is still really important to me to do, because it also brings in a large amount of income, or at least a secure amount of income for me as a practitioner and a producer to do that. Whereas the Wiggles and Giggles project is sort of like week on week, short-term contracts, difficult to pull in somebody else to deliver, because if I'm only there for like 10-12 weeks, I can't get someone in for that amount of time just to deliver that and then leave again. And so I was sort of like going with the flow with Wiggles and Giggles and letting it grow, but also very aware that this can't be the only thing that I'm doing, because Wakey Wakey Arts is not just a under fives provision, and in fact we work more acutely with young people with sort of on paper adverse childhood experiences, and we improve their well-being through the arts, and we work with health partners and education partners to do that. So this kind of more commercial setup where we're working in the community, we're hiring venues, it's like a different way of working, and it wasn't supposed to be the core way of working for Wakey Wakey Arts, but it's just what's taken off. So on reflection and sort of thinking about the board meeting that we recently had, I think that I've got to consider that we run, when it's just me delivering and administrating and producing and fundraising and all that kind of thing, we run one project a year, and wonderfully Wiggles and Giggles is the project that we are focusing on this year at the moment. So I kind of have to put on the back burner the Teeny Tales tour and accept that unless I get more resource or people in to increase capacity, we're going to focus all our energy on Wiggles and Giggles and kind of following that organic growth that's having, which is great. So we'll be delivering that in 4 venues, and the Barrington Centre have said that it is possible that if it goes well, the council will pick it up and want to roll it out across more as well, which is amazing. But all of this just tells me, and having talked to the board, and I might have talked about this last time, that I was talking to them about increasing capacity, and is it better to get somebody in to support with admin rather than Wiggles and Giggles, because Wiggles and Giggles is so me, in that I've developed it alongside my children in response to a gap that I felt. So it's very personal and very the way I deliver, like the fact that they're my lesson plans, so it's very hard to pick up someone else's lesson plans and deliver. Like, I've done that and been there, and it is difficult. And I really, really would like the person delivering Wiggles and Giggles to have lived experience of being a primary carer or parent, or even to have, like, as a second desired, like if they haven't been a primary carer, then to for an under fives person, then I would like them to have X amount of years experience working in childcare, because what I really need them to understand is the emotional and social toll it takes on a primary carer to be responsible for a young person under 5. So, and I don't think, I think it's difficult to do that unless you've been in those shoes, or unless you know families and have been around families, and you've kind of been doing handovers where you're handing children back to those families at the end of the day and things. So I think, I was kind of like, I think I should do some administrative recruitment. But then actually, board members, directors, said that Wakey Wakey Arts is all, hang on, I'm getting a call, 2 seconds. Okay, so the board basically said that rather than recruit an administrator, because Wakey Wakey Arts is me, so no one else can administrate in the way that I do, which I was really surprised about, because that to me is the most transferable, easy to communicate, like tasks are easier to communicate on that level than training someone up to deliver this very specific, like, under 5s model. But they said, there's a lot more room to kind of scrape back income from having somebody else go out and deliver sessions than there would be to have them administrate, because they're not going to fundraise in the way that I do, and that ultimately that role is about fundraising. So I do agree with that, but from a personal point of view, my practitioner delivery, that is my project at the moment. So apart from my other kind of work that I do for another company, that is my income. So I am slightly hesitant to kind of outsource that, because I also don't know how many weeks I can afford to do that for. Whether it's like, if I was to hand over a whole course of sessions at a particular venue, it might then be hard to say, oh, I need the money, can I jump back in now and deliver this? So I need to be really sure about how much work I've actually got to deliver, and also to make it an appealing recruitment, like an appealing role for somebody to do. So before the end of the year, so as in today, because today's my last working day in theory, I need to announce that the sessions are happening, decide how long they're happening for at the Barrington Centre and get advertising, recruit for somebody, announce the funding, and there's something else as well. There was something else I need to do, like in one post I need to do it all basically. And then I've got loads of other things to do today. There's no way I'm going to fit all of this in, but that's where we're at. And then the other post I need to do, which is just separate from Wiggles and Giggles update, is about the board directors who I said they wanted to share what they're doing for Wakey Wakey Arts and like their involvement and stuff. So they've asked if they can make it public, and they've sent across bios and photos. I think 2 of them have, so I need to get the other ones, bio and photo, and then announce their involvement before Christmas, because I think it's a really nice way for us to say sort of Merry Christmas to people. This is who we are, and we're all saying Merry Christmas kind of thing. So so I thought I would just update and also do a final message. I mean, by the time you listen to this, you're going to be very un-Christmassy, I'm sure, because we'll be in like February, which would be really weird. So I hope it's been a good start to the year. And yeah, thanks for listening. If you're finding this interesting, let me know, because I thought I would come along. It was my husband would call me, and he said he was driving, and I said I'd pass him at some point, which is why I was keeping my eyes on the road. Well, I do that anyway because I'm driving, but yeah, thank you for listening and being interested. If you want to know specifically about any more bits or things that I've sort of talked about but haven't followed up on, then just let me know, because I know that when I'm talking about my day to day, I might be letting some things drop out of my head that actually you might be quite interested in seeing how it's gone. Or this all might be far too much information, I don't know. I suppose it will be interesting to see who's watching or how many are watching when we launch this. And also, that's also another thing, is I'm pushing back the launch of this until January, because otherwise I'm just going to be posting too much and everyone's going to be bored of me or bored of the company. So yeah, with all that said, have a lovely break and see you in the new year. Bye.